Awesome. So today's senior bootcamp workshop is major/career exploration. Let's move on to the next one. This is going to be an overview of what we are going to talk about today. So the first part is going to be what to consider when searching for your career. The second part will be additional sources to finding a career. Third part, career exploration links. And then the fourth part, major/college exploration links as well. To start off and kick off this workshop, I wanted to ask everyone here today a couple of questions, and we'll talk about this a little bit after, but in which profession would you run into a burning building? I want you all to put in the chat, just guess this career or this profession. And these are pretty easy. So let's see what everyone comes up with. I actually can't see the chat. Or actually I can, never mind, right here. So we got Attila, a comedian, that would be funny. Firefighter, perfect, yeah. All right, anyone else want to take a guess, or is that good? Ethan, Sadie, Sophia, Attila, thank you for your responses. All right, awesome, yeah, you guys all guessed it. It is a firefighter. So second one, who would you hire to go to court and fight a lawsuit for you? Lawyer. Those answers are coming in quick. Nice. Isabella, Sophia, lawyer, Lionel, lawyer. Perfect. Definitely lawyer. Got it. Perfect. All right, next one. In which profession would you develop, build, and test a new machine? I'm not gonna lie, I kind of had trouble figuring this one out at first. I didn't know the specific name for it. Yeah. So Attila said, honestly, it would be pretty poggers to have a comedian as your lawyer. An engineer. Yeah, definitely. That's the perfect answer. I'm glad you all knew it. There you go. And then lastly, in which profession would you write a prescription? All right, Isabella says pharmacist. Anyone else want to take a shot at this one? Pharmacist. Ooh, okay. So Ms. Velasco and I actually got confused with this one at first. So in which profession would you write a prescription? The correct answer is doctor. Pharmacists prescribe, doctors prescribe, but pharmacists, they fill up your pretty much your prescription that the doctors give you. So the answer was doctor, which can be confusing. Yes, it can be confusing. Awesome. Okay, so the reason why I brought this up today was because I feel like in society in general, and sometimes when we talk with our families, these 4 different professions are the main ones that we hear when we think about career, either becoming a lawyer, becoming a doctor, an engineer, or somewhere within like law enforcement, firefighter, a cop. So what I wanted to focus on today is digging deeper than just these 4 careers. Within these 4 careers, there's a lot more specific positions that we can take a look at. So that is why I wanted to bring this up and just make you aware that throughout this research, there's a lot more that we can take a look at. And next slide. So one of our first slides is what to consider when searching for your career. So I listed a couple of bullets here that we are going to consider when searching for your career. I did put them in order. So with the first one, we always have to think about what makes you happy. So do you have any passions or interests that you want to focus on? For example, traveling can be something that you're really set and big on within your career. You might want to build others up if that's your thing. You want to make others feel good about themselves. You want others to grow and see them grow and see how they can expand in whatever their interests are. Maybe you're someone who likes design and that's what makes you happy, whether it's architectural design or whether it's fashion. Some individuals are really passionate and really passionate about animals. Sorry, I'm reading the chat and it said how about getting a Nobel Prize for solving the quantum realm. Definitely, if that's what makes you happy. But yeah, some people might be happy being around animals, and that is what they want to look for within their career. There's also others who are interested in photography or within that art sector where they like to paint, and that is what makes you and fulfills you within your life. So we definitely want to pay attention and sort of reflect and take time to think about what our passions are or what our interests are, and that will be like your first step within finding a career. Now, the second step, is there anything you are skilled at? So this, for example, can be either computer coding. Is that something you're really big on? I know, Attila, you're really good with when it comes to that tech stuff too. Anything like planning? Do you like to plan and coordinate events for others? Do you like to pretty much roll those events and planning out? Do you like to direct others? Leadership skills. I know in North Hollywood High School, we have leadership, but are you someone who sees yourself talking in front of big groups in a bigger setting? Do you enjoy writing, or do you enjoy selling / marketing? Because I know some of you might have some like side businesses selling. I know during the pandemic that was really popular. So do you enjoy selling and marketing, using social media as a platform for you to sell anything, for you to advertise anything? Is that your thing? So we definitely want to look at what you are skilled at as the second step. Now, once you figured out potentially what your passions are, what your interests are, and then you have thought about what your skills are, maybe you're someone who likes to build others up and you like planning and leadership. So now we're thinking, okay, you know what? I might be interested in looking at psychology as a future career. So our third step would be to figure out what the career education requirements are. So for example, if I want to become a psychologist, I'm going to take a look at like what education is needed in order for me to become a psychologist. What are my requirements? Does it include just getting my high school diploma and then that's it? You know, I jump straight to like taking that full-time position, or do I need my bachelor's degree as well? Maybe I might even need my master's or doctorate's degree, you know? So that is the type of educational requirements we need to take a look at in order for you to start creating your plan and searching for what your career needs and pretty much what you will have to do in order to reach that point. The fourth one is work-life balance. So we also want to take into consideration, what is your work-life balance? And when I talk about work-life balance, I mean, there are some careers out there that will require a lot more effort from you, a lot more time. For example, if for a doctor, as a doctor, you are on call all the time, right? So you might work more than just 40 hours a week. You might be working 80, you know, you might be working 40 plus, you know? So you have to think about, you know, what kind of you might have to sacrifice being in that career or in that field. And you have to be, you know, content with that and sort of accept that that is what I love to do. And I'm okay with sacrificing a couple of my time or having like a weird wonky schedule because I'm an on-call position, you know? Or there might be others who feel like, you know what, in the future, and I'm talking in the future, I am thinking that I want to spend my time with family. I want to potentially, you know, have my own family. I want to be able to travel. So I might want to look for a career or a position that will allow me to do these things. So maybe the 9 to 5 might work for someone, but then maybe then it might look differently for someone else who might be in a different position. You know, it might not be not a 9 to 5. So that is what work-life balance is, you know, you considering what you want your balance to be between work and your personal life as well. Now, the fifth one, and I say the fifth is the last one because desired salary is one of the things that we want to suggest as only a portion of what to consider for your career. We don't want you to focus solely on just the salary aspect of your career, because as I like to say is the money will come. When you are really passionate and really putting in all your effort within what makes you happy and what you're skilled at, the opportunities will come to you. And within those opportunities will be a lot more of the financial aspect of it. The last thing we want is for anyone to take on a career that doesn't make you happy, that you might be struggling in a little bit, that you're only doing for the money aspect of it. Because truthfully, if you are unhappy in your workplace, in your work environment, the longevity of you being there is short. you know? So that's why we only want you to focus on the desired salary as only a portion of the research for your career. Does anyone have any questions on anything I mentioned so far? Nothing. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Sophia. Another thing too, something I would like to ask everyone here today. So is anyone here who have like done a little bit of research or has thought about what career they potentially want to pursue? And this might not be something that you're like strict on, that that's it. It could be something maybe you're just pondering on, that you just thought about but want to do more research on. If you do, can you please put it in the chat or unmute yourself to like talk about what that career is, just because I would love to expand more on it in the slides coming up. Psychologist, quantum physicist, NASA. I love how specific that is. I love it. Psychologist, nice, Sophia. Anyone else? Firefighting, nice, Ethan. That is I've seen the process for firefighters and it is rigorous for sure. Awesome. Civil engineering, Lionel, nice. These are all really great. I love to see it. Okay. Since, let's see, Sophia, you were the first one in the chat to put your specific career. I'm going to go ahead and keep yours in mind, and you will see why in the next couple of slides. Thank you all for sharing. I really do love seeing it. Okay, let's move on. Alrighty, so this sort of ties into this last slide. We are going to talk about additional sources to help you choose a career. And this is more so what you can put into action in order for you to choose the career that you want to pursue. So one of the first things that we can do in doing our research is actually reading on about a particular career via like the news articles or just staying updated with the information. So I know you mentioned civil engineering, and then there's also, let me go back. There's one in specific that I want to talk about too, the quantum physicist in NASA. So for you, Attila, maybe you want to read some articles. Whoops, let's go back. Give me 1 second. Let me share again. This right here. There you go. Okay, I got interrupted by my own technical difficulties. Okay, let's go back. So maybe we want to take a look at some articles that are keeping us up to date with NASA and what they're doing when the quantum physicist side of it. Or with civil engineering for Lionel, maybe you want to take a look at what is news or what is the update on civil engineering. Maybe they're using anything new and pretty much renovating things that you want to be aware about. You want to keep up to date with your field is what I'm trying to say. And one of the reasons why I also want to start with telling you to do this ahead of time is because when you go to college, once you reach your 3rd and 4th year of college, where it's just going to be more emphasized on your major, there's going to be professors who are actually going to recommend you stay updated with these articles or readings. And it's important to do that because that's basically the field you're going to be in, and you have to be up to date with what's going on. Even for us, for Ms. Velasco and I as advisors, every year we have to stay updated with what's new for like students with college. We receive updates all the time so that we are able to give you the correct information. So kind of works the same way with your future careers, is you have to stay updated with the information that you're going to be involved in as well, just to ensure that you're doing and you're performing your best, you know? Yeah, we definitely go to trainings every single year for this. Second part is to conduct informational interviews with the representative in that particular field. So if you have the chance to interview someone who is representing the field that you are interested in, that is probably one of like the first key points of being able to get your question answered on anything you're wondering about. For psychology, if you meet a psychologist, or if you even just do something as simple as sending email to a psychology professor who might direct you to some information on what it means to be a psychologist, have some questions prepared beforehand that you can present within that email or within that conversation when you meet a representative, so that you can get information on that particular field. That definitely is another sort of way to consider whether you want to be a part of that field or not. You will actually get more so like the first person hands-on sort of discussion that will give you answers to some of the questions you may be wondering about. Third part would be to job shadow. So I know that there are some fields that allow you to job shadow. One of you mentioned firefighting. So if there is a chance for you to, if you were to look up the department specifically, there might actually be a section where students are allowed to job shadow or join for pretty much for the day, so that they can see what the day-to-day duties for a firefighter are. This also goes to like law enforcement. I know that job shadowing is a thing for them, so they actually take students out in their cop car, and they pretty much show them what the day-to-day looks like for a cop, pretty much. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Ms. Velasco. So this can also happen within other fields as well. You can simply send an email and reach out to a specific organization, a company that you may be looking at, and ask if maybe you have a chance to job shadow and take advantage of that opportunity, so that you can see what a typical day looks like for someone. The fourth part would be to join clubs. And I know you always hear join clubs. I know Hollywood High School is always like join clubs, but joining clubs actually has its many benefits, especially with choosing a career. So if you are able to find a club that is specifically emphasized on psychology, or specifically emphasized in like law enforcement and society, you might want to join those clubs so that you can receive more information on like how to be a part of the community and share what you know, and then also receive knowledge from others within that field. The fifth bullet point will be to volunteer at companies/organizations that have your career, so you get potential hands-on experience. So this kind of ties into job shadowing, but the only difference is that job shadowing is more so a couple of hours to a day. When you're volunteering at companies and organizations, is actually more of a routine. So now you've built more of like, you go to a company organization once a week or even twice a week, so that you are given tasks to perform throughout the days when you're there, so that you get that experience. And they might be teaching you, how to start a spreadsheet with data that they will use within that company, or what the day-to-day basis might be of like tasks that someone might be doing. And now they're giving you the opportunity to take on those tasks, and you will learn from those tasks so that you can take with you when you go to college, and then you potentially get that first job that you land after you graduate. You can also add the volunteer experience onto your resume and let others know that you do have some experience with like data, that you have worked with a certain amount of groups and individuals, helping them out in, for example, whether it's a counseling, whether it's a psychologist that you're looking forward to pursuing. Volunteering is going to be probably one of the more, how do I put it, helpful ways for you to gain that sort of knowledge on what it is to be in your career. Now, the sixth bullet point is to take courses that explore your interests and determine which you like and dislike. Now, when I say this, I mean, for those of you maybe who are STEM majors, I know math can be a huge component, science can be a huge component when it comes to your career. So what we would like to suggest is for you to take courses that have to do with science, basically, have to do with math. Challenge yourself in those fields, because that is where you will truly see whether you like that subject and whether you want to keep working in that subject specifically. For example, if it is math, you want to see if you are truly dedicating all your efforts into learning and becoming a better mathematician. Same with science. If you are someone who is going to go into a field that requires a lot of science, take those science courses so that you can see what it is like to have science involved into like the everyday basis. Do you like science? Do you enjoy learning it? And I don't mean, sometimes we may not be good at math. We may not be good at science, and that's totally fine. It doesn't mean whether you're good at it or whether you're bad at it. It has to do with the fact that you are willing to put in all your efforts to actually learn yourself and how to work with science and how to work with math? Is that something you want to do for a couple more years and actually have it involved within your career, you know? So that's what we mean by taking courses that explore more so your interest and determine which you like versus dislike. Lastly, taking an aptitude test to determine what careers align with your values and personality is also another great way, and sort of one of like the first things you can also do in order to see what careers maybe you might be aligned with. It's more so like kind of like a brainstorming aspect of like searching for like a career, because then with your values and your personality and your set skills that you will be answering within the aptitude test, the results will come out and it'll give you like a list of careers that they might see that you might potentially be great at. And then that way you can search up the career and search more in depth of what the career entails, what duties and responsibilities you may have, what educational background you will have to like have in order to become someone in that field. So aptitude tests definitely do come in handy. And I know that North Hollywood High School sometimes does aptitude tests, or at least some of the programs at North Hollywood High School has their students do aptitude tests. And in the next slides, I will actually have included a link where you can actually take an aptitude test in case you do want to sort of test that out and see what your results are. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Awesome. So career and exploration links. So I'm actually going to go ahead and I provided these links right here, which you will have in a second, so that you can also work with and take a look at and take with you after this presentation so that you can have more time to focus on them and actually do some career exploration on your own time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through one of the links so that we can see what it is like to work through this website and sort of see the information that it provides. Now, in the previous slides, I had actually asked you all to put in a career that you're interested in. And I'm going to go with Sophia since you were the first one to respond. And I'm going to choose psychology as one of the examples that we'll use today and expand on to use these links here today. So the one I'm going to choose to use is occupations research, which is using ONET online. So the other links that were listed are similar to this one right here. These types of links are catered for you to receive information on your specific field or career that you're interested in. So ONET right here, we would pretty much just go to the search bar and we are going to look at psychology. Ooh, I spelled that incorrectly. Now, as you can see now, there are different types of psychologists out there. Now we have psychology teachers, school psychologists, clinical psychology and counseling, industrial/organizational psychologist. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna choose clinical and counseling psychologist. Now, once you search and choose the career that you have typed in, you will receive a lot more information within that just clinical and counseling psychologist. One of the first things you will see is occupation specific information. So it'll actually give you a breakdown of what some of the tasks are that involve a clinical and counseling psychologist to do. For example, one of the first ones we see right here is collect information about individuals or clients using interviews, case histories, observational techniques, and other assessment methods. Now, when we move further down, we will see that it also will give you a set of technology skills that will come in handy when you are a counseling psychologist. So you will probably become more familiar with analytical or scientific software. We might be more familiar with the calendaring and scheduling software because you will have clients that will be scheduling with you once a week or maybe even multiple times a week. You might be more familiar with medical software because as a psychologist, you also have to be aware about what your clients' needs are or what their medical history has been, because that will also help you currently with what to sort of suggest to them, what to counsel them in. Spreadsheet software, word processing software. You will become more familiar with Google Sheets. You might be using more documents. So that is another, breakdown of like what technology skills will come in handy. And you can even use this and tailor it. So for example, in college, if you are, looking to become a psychologist, then you might want to work a little bit more with Google Sheets and how maybe learn like the ins and outs of Google Sheets, become a lot more familiar with Google Docs and like how you can work with Google Docs. Maybe there's this specific software that you can sort of see and find out more information about. You might even come across having a part-time position that will help you and might have included these softwares, or even just calendaring techniques, scheduling techniques that you can add onto your resume that will come in handy when you're applying for your big full-time position as a psychologist. Work activities. So occupational requirements right here. This sort of briefly talks about what some of the work activities you will be encountering. So assisting and caring for others, getting information, establishing and maintaining interpersonal relationships, because developing relationships with your clients is going to be really, really important, especially in psychology. You want to build what is called that rapport with your client so that they are able to trust you and trust your information, and vice versa. It's definitely a lot more of like a bond that you will start creating with each client. And sometimes it could be easy, sometimes it can be hard. So these are some of the skills that you will be picking up on. Documenting and recording information is another huge thing when it comes with psychology. And this might be any field as well. Documenting and recording your information is super important. As an advisor, I actually do document what we talk about, and I sometimes might disclose that in the beginning of our sessions when we have our one-on-ones, and that's, or you might even see me jotting down information on my notepad. And that's just because I simply need to record what we talk about, because it helps me as your advisor to remember everything that we discussed, what information I gave you, what information you gave me, to better cater your pathway. This helps me figure out like what your goals are and how I can help you get there. So it kind of works the same with psychology, is you're documenting and recording information to better your experience and your client's experience so that you can both contribute information together and pretty much create a successful plan. Now we're looking at detailed work activities. So it will also share a little bit more about the work activities that you will come across, maybe some interviews or surveys, operational data, presentations, work context. So this includes face-to-face discussions. This might include you being indoors, somewhere where it's environmentally controlled, which just means basically you're in a building, you might be in an office where it's specific to just you and your clients one-on-one time. Now the job zone, it will also include, the education. So most of these occupations require graduate school. For example, they may require a master's degree and some require a PhD. So this is where we get to what is required out of your career, the educational background. So as a psychologist, we are seeing that graduate school is going to be really important for you to reach that, counseling psychology full-time position. We might want to start off, of course, high school diploma. You're going to get your bachelor's degree, but then you also want to potentially receive either your master's or, like it says here, your PhD to become a psychologist. And I will say that it is a lot more known now that as a psychologist, you definitely do have to achieve that graduate's degree in order to have a lot more options within that field. A bachelor's degree might get you to entry jobs, but if you want to expand a lot more within that field, definitely graduate schools and getting your graduate degree will be more helpful for sure. Some related experience that you might want to have, job training, job zone examples, and then you get into a lot more information here. Some of the work styles, work values, the wages. So if you're interested in looking at, I know we talked about desired salary. So this will be sort of where you can see that information based also off of like where you are residing. So we are here in California. You can put in your zip code and select the state of California to see what maybe the average salary is for a psychologist, right? Yeah, and then we have some additional sources here if you want to keep looking at more. But this is briefly what these links that I'm sharing with you are about, so that you can figure out a lot more information on what career specifically you are interested in. I am going to go ahead and go back to our presentation here. I know that was a lot. So we are going to move on to our next slide. Oh no, I clicked it again. Okay, now this is a second set of links that I have prepared and would like to share with you all as well, because this one will do a little bit more so on your major. I know that I emphasized a lot on your career, but now we want to jump into your major and selecting which major you want to pursue in college now that we figured out what career you wanted to pursue, right? So one of my favorite links here has to be these top three right here, but I'm going to start with College Scorecard Finder. Yeah, let's do that one. Oh no, Miss Santos did it again. Let's share screen. Let's do this one. Okay, so let's do this here. Every time I see this one, I'm like, yes, I love getting started on this. With College Scorecard Finder, you are able to search up colleges based off a major. But the interesting part about this is you can search by the school or you can search field of study. Now, when I drop down psychology, you're just about to see how many different psychology fields there are. And it is crazy because it is a lot. So some of the stuff here that we haven't even discovered, or at least we haven't even been, hasn't even been mentioned is on here. So like biopsychology, applied psychology, psychology, teacher education. We also have research and experimental psychology, information psychological warfare, military media relations. Like there are different types of psychology fields. So this is kind of like what I was saying in the beginning, we might have these four, really big fields like lawyer, doctor, engineer, firefighter, but there might be very specific positions within those fields that we might not know about. This is kind of like what I'm talking about here now with psychology. Psychology is like the broad spectrum, but there's actually different specific psychology or psychologists out there that maybe you haven't heard of or you want to look into. For us, let's just say we're going to stick with clinical counseling and applied psychology, right? So when we go here, we will actually be seeing there's a filter on the left side where you can actually switch. I am going to go ahead and switch from certificate and associates and go straight to bachelor's degree, because as we saw in the educational requirement for psychology, you might want to work your way up to a graduate degree. And in order for you to receive a graduate degree, you also need to have your bachelor's degree to start off. So right now you're getting your high school diploma. We're going to move on to getting our bachelor's degree, right? So let's take a look at that. Now, what will happen is you will start seeing all the schools and colleges that have that clinical counseling and applied psychology major, and you can receive your bachelor's degree in. So let's say I want to filter this out a little bit more. Let's see. Location. So I want to search up schools that are going to be here in California. So I'm going to press California there. Whoops, switch that out. Now this is all filtered for California colleges with a bachelor's degree in clinical counseling and applied psychology. We are going to take a look here, and as you can see, it has a lot more information as well. So it'll tell you whether it's a four-year institution, whether it's a private school, the type of community or environment that it's in, whether it's rural, suburban, and then it also includes what the population size is. So let's say, for example, Palo Alto University has 2,000 undergraduates. If we look down to Pepperdine University, which is located in Malibu, it's a four-year institution, it's a private school, it's around a suburban community, and it has between 2,000 and 15,000 undergraduates. Now, we drop down, we're going to see St. Mary's College of California, or one of our other known ones is University of San Diego. Let's say I want to look at University of San Diego. We can see it's a four-year institution, private nonprofit, it's within the city, and then it's between 2,000 and 15,000 undergraduates. Once we click on this will actually give us even more detailed information with the data, the statistics aspect of it. So the graduation rate of the school, the average annual cost, median earnings for this. So The median earnings is basically some of the students have reported who have graduated from UCSD have reported that they, this is how much they make in earnings based off of like them graduating from the school and reaching their career. Fields of study, we're going to have a drop down right here of all the fields of study, basically all the majors that this school carries. If you drop down more, it'll have a thorough breakdown of like the cost by family income, the graduation and retention rate. This will be the financial aid and debt. So financial aid, it talks about, median total debt after graduation, typical monthly loan payments, student receiving federal loans. This is all just data on financial aid and debt in regards to like UCSD students. Typical earnings, the student body. So this is also like more so the demographics of the school. It will even give you a breakdown of the percent of like the different ethnicities and races on campus, and then test scores and acceptance rate right here. So this actually gives you more information on the school in specific, and then the major, making sure that it has your major. And then you can also compare this to a different school on the college scorecard. I'm going to go back to our slides because I did want us to take a look at CSU and UC Major Finder, which is going to be something similar to what we looked at Scorecard, just less statistical data and more so just taking a look at schools that have the major that you're interested in. So for example, we are looking at psychology again, right? So we are looking at clinical psychology, and we want to search all the campuses, all the CSUs that have clinical psychology as a major. So right here, we will see that there are 3 schools right here, or 3 campuses. We have CSU Dominguez Hill, CSU San Diego State University, and then San Francisco State University that have clinical psychology as their major within that school that you can study. You can always go back and filter that out with a new search right here, and then start with, for example, let's do civil engineering. All the schools here will also drop down all the CSUs that contain civil engineering as one of their majors that you can take a look at. Once you click on one, it'll actually take you to the school's website, and it will actually show you a lot. It'll drop you to the school's website where it has all their majors. You're going to go ahead and look for yours. So we are looking for civil engineering. Not sure if I passed it. It might be within. What I have a feeling is it might be within. You might have to do a little bit more search for these because they might not have the civil engineering or whatever major you're searching up straightforward. You might have to click on the different departments and then look for it that way. But it will definitely drop you to the school's website to give you more information on their majors. Now, if I go back to our UC one, it'll be this very similar thing where you pretty much will filter what major you're interested in, and it'll show you all the UCs that contain that major. So right here, we're going to do psychology. You are going in as a freshman, and we are going to search, click all campuses, and you are going to search fall. So we have right here, Santa Cruz is probably one of I will say though, it will drop Santa Cruz as one of the schools that has psychology, but you can always use this as an example to search up each school and check their major list on their website instead as well. All right. Okay, so I went through 3 of the links here. The rest are also will have to do with your major. College results, College Board, College Finder will also have to do with your major, where you will search up psychology, and it'll actually give you a little more of information about what the psychology major is about. You can also even search when you are doing your major finder and searching the school, and you're searching up, for example, clinical psychology. You can actually take a look at the Department of Clinical Psychology or psychology at the school, so that it can give you information on what the values of the psychology department at your school are, so that you can sort of see get more information on that major. What I want to do as an activity today is I actually want you all, Ms. Velasco put the links in the chat for you to save and you to go through on your own. I wanted to take a few minutes. It is 12:45, so I wanted to take maybe like 5 to 10 minutes. I'm gonna give you like 10 minutes to go ahead and actually go through a couple of the links yourselves and gather information based off your major and college. Major and career exploration. So number one, check out the links Ms. Santos shared in the chat for career and major/exploration. Number two, gather research on your career. So for example, what education is needed? What are some responsibilities in this career? Number three, gather research on your major. So actually, what does this major entail? Which college campuses offer the major? And then in the end, I'm going to ask to share, and then I want to take a couple of notes down on like what we talked about and sort of just discuss and make sure that everyone is able to work through these websites. But let's do that. I also will be playing a little bit of background music so that you can take the time to work on this activity. And let me stop sharing. You can start at any moment now while I play some like just chill music in the back. And we will come back 12:55 to talk about it.
I've seen sides of life that
All right. I hope that was sufficient time to gather a couple of information. If you did not finish just yet, that is okay. We're going to share what we do have so far. If y'all didn't guess, that was Ratatouille ambient music. It was very random, but I hope you enjoyed it while you were doing your research. Is there a brave soul here today that would like to share what they found within their research? And I'm going to share my screen again. And I'm going to go back to the slides and share with this one. So I want to see, there's 3 new things that we might have learned throughout the links that I sent and the research you did. Does anyone want to share what career they looked up or they used to search using the links? I'm going to be typing these as we go too, once you type them in the chat.
You can type your responses in the chat if you don't want to unmute. But again, it is nice to unmute just to hear some of your lovely voices.
Mm-hmm. And the first thing I'm asking for is kind of what you all mentioned earlier, but I just want to confirm that that is what you searched up. So it's just, what career did you do your research on? Nice. Okay, psychology. Cool, Sophia, thank you for sharing. We have our first one, psychology. Quantum physicist. Oops, I put an O. Awesome. Thank you, Attila. Gotcha. Engineering and computer science is definitely one of them. I'll put comp sci for short. Anyone else? Another brave soul that would like to share? And then we can move on to majors.
It's just the careers y'all are interested in looking at. We just want to know, we're going to manifest what careers y'all want. So anything y'all were searching of, and you can DM me or Miss Santos.
If no one else has maybe no one searched up to career, that's totally fine. We can move on to the majors if not. So for majors, what majors? I know that for psychology, the major you probably searched up, Sophia, was also psychology, unless there was a specific one that you're interested in. If there is, please go ahead and type which major in specific you found information on. And same for you, Attila and Yesenia. Cool. So it was psychology as well. Your major, that's what I love. Okay, cool. So Attila, your major was more so physics. Awesome. And then Yesenia, what major did you search up? If you reach that port, if you reach that portion, yeah. If not, totally okay. Nice. We have comp sci right here. Perfect. Okay. Now, did any of you get to the list of colleges? So any of you research any colleges? MIT. Nice. MIT is leading physics teachings. Cool. Any list of colleges for psychology or computer science / engineering that either of you found? UC Irvine, nice. I'm gonna do UCI for short. Let me go down to this one. And another question in regards to the list of colleges that you have gathered information on. 14 leading physics. California is the 14th leading physics teaching. Now, are we talking UCLA, Attila?
Or are you just talking the UC system in
Yeah.
general?
That, yeah. So another thing that I wanted you all to emphasize when searching up your colleges is checking out more information, kind of like what the environment is, the population, sort of what I went through in the college scorecard, whether it's a private school, whether it is a public school. Wow, you went in depth. Okay, awesome. UCLA, UC Davis, UCD, and then UCSD. Nice, awesome. So I'm really happy that you all got the chance to pretty much go through all the links, well, to go through some of the links that I shared. This is the whole point of actually using those links to gather information right here. Career, major, and then list of colleges. I know it's 101, so I wanna just end this with what I wanna do now that you have all gathered a little bit more information. Take the time to search a little bit more, because tomorrow we're actually gonna have a workshop on like how to finalize your college list. So if you would like to work on a little bit more creating that list of colleges, we're going to talk a little more of the factors that play a part in narrowing down your list, so that you can join us tomorrow to sort of see how you can finalize it. Are there any questions that you would like to share in regards to anything that you pretty much learned today, or anything, any feedback you want to provide me with? Just anything you like to share. I'm also going to be giving you the sign-in link before we end this presentation, so that you can go ahead and sign in to receive credit as well for coming to our workshop today. But if you have any questions, please unmute yourself or drop them in the chat so Ms. Velasco and I can answer them for you. And if you don't have any questions in the moment, feel free to email us or send us a quick text message with your questions as well. I'm actually going to move to the next slide where we have our phone number and our emails in case you do want to send us a message in regards to any questions, as well as the Remind App code if you want to add yourself on there too. And if you're good, if you don't have any questions, just pretty much give us a thumbs up. And yeah, if you're good, then we can go ahead and move on. And hopefully you can join us tomorrow for our How to Finalize College List workshop that I will also be hosting. Thank you, Sadie. Thank you, Sanya.